So first off, I do want to talk to you about these rocket launchers that the IDF does say was found. We saw some of that in the video there just moments ago. Now, some are saying that that is evidence of just how strong Hamas is in that area, how strong their presence is. So I do want to get kind of your take on that.
I think that's accurate. I mean, it's not just the rocket launchers that were found. It's the fact that there have been rockets being launched at Israel after a relative lull in such attacks over the past couple of weeks, emanating from Rafah. This is a testament to the fact that 4 of Hamas's battalions remain intact in Rafah. And this is the entire purpose of the Israeli focus on Rafah now, this idea that they need to enter Rafah to be able to dismantle Hamas's remaining battalions. This is just one more data point to prove that.
And the IDF also, as I mentioned, is estimating that nearly 1 million Gazans so far have been evacuated from Rafah ahead of this, what I'm saying, full-scale invasion. I know that they are already there in Rafah, but that full-scale invasion hasn't started yet. What does that say about Israel's plan to protect civilians, as the U.S. has pretty much said that needs to happen?
I mean, from the outset, Israel has stated its adherence to international law, the laws of armed conflict in word and deed. This is obviously not going to be perfect. Civilian casualties in an urban conflict, especially an urban environment of this density, are unfortunately inevitable. I think the Israelis have done a great job in trying to minimize those casualties as much as realistically possible. As we both know, discussions have been going on between the United States and Israel for months now regarding moving the civilians, Palestinian civilians in Gaza, out of harm's way before some kind of Israeli action in Rafah. We're seeing the Israelis comply with that. We're seeing, again, a massively quick movement of the civilian population out of the area. There are also reports that have come out today and yesterday that the United States is starting to, if not greenlight the operation in Rafah, the gaps beginning to close, namely because of Israel's demonstrable efforts to protect the civilian population there and move it out of harm's way.
I want to talk about another topic here that's been making headlines over the past, I would say, 12 hours or so, as Spain, Ireland, and Norway are saying that they would recognize a Palestinian state. Now, those announcements were almost simultaneous, and they kind of create some momentum, I would say, for the recognition of a Palestinian state by other European Union countries. What is the significance of those statements there by Spain, Ireland, and Norway?
It remains to be seen, the long-term significance, at least. What we are seeing is growing international pressure on the state of Israel to accept a two-state solution to the conflict. I think this reflects a growing European and global exasperation with the continuation of this conflict, and perhaps a bit of impatience with its resolution. The stated position of these countries for decades has been that two-state solution, while desirable, should be achieved through bilateral negotiations between the Israelis and the Palestinians, so that neither side really loses the leverage that it has over the other. Israel's leverage primarily over the Palestinian side to counter Palestinian maximalism, which rejects the state of Israel's right to exist or its existence on any part of historical mandatory Palestine, has been this recognition, has been this Western refusal to grant this recognition. Now we're seeing the erosion of this, probably primarily in part due to the Gaza conflict and the high civilian toll this has taken, as well as domestic pressure from within these countries. So long-term implications, again, remain to be seen, but it is setting a worrying trend that I think tips the balance in the Palestinians' favor.
We talk a lot about the situation between Israel and Hamas, but it's important to note that there is also the ongoing battles, the fighting there between Israel and HESBOLLAH, as we see those attacks happening pretty much on a daily basis. So I do want to get your take. What is the latest information coming in on the battles between Israel and HESBOLLAH?
They're ongoing. They've been ongoing since October 8th. with the sole exception of the lull that happened during the humanitarian pause between Israel and the Gaza-based terrorist factions. Hezbollah has, over the past couple of weeks, noticeably intensified its attacks on northern Israel. They're noticeably also seeking to draw blood in a way that they did not before. If we account for the fact that 24 total Israelis have been killed on the northern border since October 8th, when Hezbollah started its attack, 4 of those have been killed in the past, within the span of a week, right? And then this happened within the past 2 weeks. This is, in my opinion, in my estimation, has occurred due to the movement of Israeli forces into Rafah. We're seeing further deployment of Israeli forces into Rafah, kind of the reinvigoration of Israeli military operations there. But primarily, if you ask me, because of the growing visible and public daylight between the United States and Israel over Gaza operations. The uptick really coincided with the halt of weapons shipments to Israel by the United States. And I think that allowed Hezbollah to feel like it could push the envelope just a little bit more and really try to push the red lines beyond what they are.
The death of Iran's president, we do know that obviously Iran is connected to Hamas and Hezbollah. Does that change anything about either the situation between Israel and Hamas or Israel and Hezbollah?
Absolutely not. Raisi, while disreputable figure, to put it lightly, does not set the tone of Iran's foreign policy. He was tapped as probably one of the successors of Ayatollah Khamenei, but he was not at that in that leadership post yet. It is the supreme leader of Iran, Ayatollah Khamenei, who sets Iran's foreign posture, and the IRGC and the IRGC Quds Force are the ones that execute that. The president of Iran has no bearing on that decision making or on that posture. So his death, again, while it may be welcome to many, it will not have an impact on the destabilizing role that Iran plays in the region.
All right, David Dowd there, Senior Fellow at the Foundation for Defensive Democracies. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us. Anything else you want to add before I let you go?
Like I said, always keep the eye on the north, see how developments there are occurring. I think that is the next big battle that will happen if the situation is not resolved in a manner that allows the 60 to 80,000 Israelis who have been displaced from their homes to return safely. And by that, I mean not just to put in place some kind of temporary measure that will create a false sense of security on the northern border, one that resembled the false sense of security that existed on the Gaza border on October 6th, but one that actually resolves the threat that Hezbollah poses to northern Israel and to Israel generally. If something is not put into effect, if a deal is not reached that is able to satisfactorily resolve that situation without war, we may see further escalation, and perhaps from the Israeli side.
All right, David, as always, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us. We appreciate it.
Pleasure's all mine, Josh.